what is it with Canada and trios, power trios? All these three-piece bands sound so big. You got Rush, you got Triumph, and now Phil X and the Drills.
Let's rock.
I think it's the metric system.
People talk about the light at the end. There's only one way you can comprehend it all.
Hey man, it's Phil X. Let's rock. How you doing, Ken?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Welcome back to Let's Rock.
Yeah, man.
We spoke about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
You had just released an album with Phil Deimer.
Kurt.
Kurt, you're Phil.
Yeah.
Never mind. Kurt Deimer.
Confusing. We look a lot alike.
Well, don't you? So yeah, it's been about 3 years. A lot's happened since I saw you last.
Hmm.
Congratulations, by the way. Fantastic new album.
Man, thank you.
It's been on repeat for about a week now in the Let's Rock,
Wow.
and I can't get enough of it. It's fantastic, man. Congratulations.
Oh man, thank you. That means a lot. It really does. I mean, when you put so much work into a, a work of, your art, it's nice to get accolades. I appreciate it. Thank you.
So let's talk about this new record.
Shoot.
Wow. Right in the kisser. I'm
Yeah.
guessing that's a Honeymooners reference.
Dude, all I like to think of was I love Pow. I mean, when you go back to old black and white television sitcoms, one of these days, pow, right in the kisser. And I like to feel like all the music that we make is kind of like that. It kind of hits you in the face
It
like a
really is.
punch.
It's a really aggressive album.
There's aggression and there's comedy because I have that side of me all the time. There's, a funny lyric here and there. But I did go really deep. There's definitely more dimension on this record than there has been thematically. Um, like for instance, Broken Arrow. I wrote that right after I learned Chris Cornell had passed.
Wow.
And when something like that happens, such an iconic influence, when something like that happens, you wonder, wow, you never really know what's going on in somebody's head. They're out there touring, uh, creating their art with their passion, and then they're gone, and it's like, wow. So it made me ask questions like, there's a lyric in that song that's kind of like, what's it like to let the voice of reason down? Because the voice of reason is always, hey man, we can make it. We'll, things will, we can pull out of this and we'll be great again. And to just turn that off and take the other path. The next lyric is, how's the view? So there's always that tongue in cheekiness. The thing is, years ago, I would have never approached the subject like that in any drills format. But it seemed time, and I had the track for it. The music and the lyric went together so well. And the other thing for me is everything is this has been so interpretive when I write lyrics for the drills. It doesn't have to be about that. It just could be about any challenge and making a decision.
Yeah, it's interesting. You recorded with Cornell, didn't you?
Hmm. We did a rock version of Long Gone. And it was amazing too. We were in the studio. I did all the guitars and tracked with the drummer, and Chris wasn't there, but then they were like, "Hey, can you come in tomorrow night?" I go, "Well, I got a thing." And they're like, "Well, we need you to do the solo, and Chris is going to be here. He wants to be here for that." And I was like, "Oh, I can move my thing. I'll see you tomorrow."
I would pretty much move anything to jam with Chris Cornell.
Dude, and it was amazing because it was his listening to his voice while I'm playing guitar and he's sitting on the couch. It was just so surreal. It was like, what the hell? And that's my one regret when it comes to like not getting a photo.
Mm.
Because I'm always like, I don't want to be that guy. If you're in the studio making music, it's all about the music. I don't care who's there. I'm not going to be the guy like, hey man, can we get a pic? I'm not going to be that guy, you know. But now that he's gone, and I had the chance and I didn't. It kind of makes me rethink that, you know.
How long ago did he die? How long has this thing been in the works? This album?
Dude, I think I was living in Vegas at the time, so it probably was 2019, 2018.
But you had Broken Arrow shortly after that? Like how?
No, we've been working on this record since 2014.
What?
So yeah, it's been a decade because the first drum track was Brian Tichy on "You Sunk My Battleship" in 2014, and then the last drum track was Tosh Peterson, the new kid taking over the drum world. Um, he and that was I think October 2024. So and everything was in between that. So I pitched the Broken Arrow song to Liberty DeVito in 2018. I was on the road with Bon Jovi, and we uh, we had two sold out nights at Madison Square Garden, and Liberty lives in New York. So I was like, hey man, if I get a studio on Friday, will you come in and track drums? And he was like, see you there. So, you know, legendary drummer. I had to get a legendary studio. So we recorded at the Power Station, and he just crushed it. And then me, Lib, and my engineer Obi O'Brien, we went and had bought everybody a Mexican lunch, and then Liberty jumped on the train home, and me and Obi walked to sound check at Madison Square Garden for night two.
Wow. Liberty DeVito, ooh, he's something.
Dude, there's no messing around, man. We met on the Hired Gun set when we were all jamming. There was a lot of the cast was in at East West Studios, and they were getting content for the video. I mean, the documentary. And I saw him jump on the kit, and I was just watching him, and I'm like, because everybody's like, oh, he's 70 something, and I'm watching him play, and I'm like, he plays like a kid. He plays like he's got so much energy and fire, and I'm like, what? So we obviously kept in touch, and we hit it off, and then when he came and played on the song, it was like, and it's funny because he came in. I give everybody like a guitar and a vocal because I don't want any drum ideas in what I'm sending you. I want it to be a blank slate. You come in with your drum personality 100%. And he originally, the way I played it, because I play so aggressively, he thought it was double time. And then I go, hey, that's great, but it's the song's in halftime. And he just switched into halftime, nailed it, nailed it. Like no thought, no nothing. Just he's so professional.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. All the drummers you have on this album. I mean, for people who don't know, I'll just list a couple. You got Tommy Lee, you got Kenny Aronoff. Holy crap, he's good. Ray Luzier. How do you say that name? Luzier?
I think there's questions about it. I say Ray Luzier, Luzier. I now you got me confused. It's
Yeah.
actually if there's a French pronunciation, Luzier.
Ah, is he from?
Ah, I've been saying Ray Luzier. That's it for years. But he
Okay.
does. I
We'll
told
go,
him.
we'll go with
I
what you.
called him. I said, hey, just so you know, when I say "Play Don't Wake Up," Siri, "Play Don't Wake Up Dead" by Phil X and the Trails in the car. She goes, "Don't Wake Up Dead" by Phil X and the Drills, featuring Ray Luzier on drums.
All right, we'll take that. We'll take
Yeah, I'll
that.
take it.
Also, Brent Fitz, Tico Torres, yeah, from that other band you're in, right? What's
Yeah,
that
the day
band?
job.
Brian Tichy, he played with Dead Daisies. I saw him a couple years ago with the Dead Daisies.
He's an incredible drummer. He's one of my favorite rock guys. He's like he knows how to hit him and he knows how to groove, and his fills are really really killer. And it's funny because he put a fill in the third chorus of um "You Sunk My Battleship," and I listened to it go down, but there's guitars going and there's bass and I'm screaming and all this stuff is happening on top of it. I had to mute everything and just listen to the drum fill, and it was so good. And being in Pro Tools is an amazing thing because you can do stuff like this. I copied and pasted it to the beginning of the song. So even when I sent him the mix, he was like, I don't remember doing that fill at the beginning of the song. I go, no, man, you did it in the third chorus. So I had to fly it in. So
Yeah.
it's kind of stuff like that. There's great stories with all these songs. Kenny Aronoff, we just, I can't even count how many records by other artists we played on together. So that was a no-brainer. And then Tommy, we have a history too. I've been playing on his solo records since '99 with Methods of Mayhem. And then it was same thing. I sent him an idea, and that was the last single. I can't even think of my own titles right now.
Yeah, I remember.
Fake the Day Away. So he played on Fake the Day Away. I sent him the idea, and he sampled it, put a loop on it, and sent it back to me like 10 beats per minute slower. And he's like, I love it, but this is the tempo. And I was like, you're the boss. And so we went in to track that, and we slowed it down a couple more times too. So the end result is the one that you've been hearing on the record and on wherever you're streaming and stuff like that. That tempo is was in the works, and it landed where it is, and it's really exciting to me. I can't even imagine it faster. It's so energetic.
But why so many drummers? Like, why have you
That,
switched?
that takes me back to when we were gigging, when this band was at its in the very early stages, and we had Jeremy Spencer who was in the band, and he went on to form. He wanted to go back to his metal roots and went on to form Five Finger Death Punch. And so it just seemed like after he left the band, we had a different drummer every week. Because if you're in LA and you have a great drummer, he plays in 5 or 10 bands. So I'd be, hey man, we're playing at the Whiskey next Friday. And they'd be like, oh man, I got a gig. Okay, drummer number 2. Hey man, we got a gig Whiskey next Friday. Oh, sorry, man, I'm on the road. So it became like a rotating door, a revolving door of drummers. So then, and then in 2014, when I wanted to start recording the record, which some of those songs ended up on our 2019 release, Stupid Good Lookings Volume 1. And there's a different drummer on every track there. So it turned into like, that was a teaser of a 14 drum, a 14 drummer project. Excuse me, something in there. So I called Randy Cook, who's a fellow Canadian, also from Toronto, and he plays with everybody. And I said, hey, I want to record the record in June. And he said, oh, I'll be on tour until October. And I was just going through this disgruntled, frustrated phase of drummer syndrome. And I was doing a session, and it was Josh Freese on the session. So we had done a bunch of records together, and I was talking to him and expressing my frustration. And he said, hey, I'll play on a couple of songs. And Chris Chaney, who is now playing bass for AC/DC, he was the bass player on the session, and he was super tight with Taylor Hawkins. And he was like, I'll get Taylor on a couple of songs. And then it turned into, okay, so maybe we'll have a few drummers on this record. And then a few turned on into a different drummer on every track. And the funny thing was that even Josh inspired the spark of the whole idea. We could never get our schedules together to get him on a song. So you got 6 drummers on that record, 11 drummers drumming on this record, and no Josh because we couldn't get our schedules together. It's so funny.
Wow, it's wild, eh? Randy Cook, you know, it's funny. It's funny how small the music community is, even though it's really big. Randy
Yeah.
Cook, when I was in college, Randy Cook got me backstage to meet Rick Emmett for my first little interview that I ever did.
Wow.
And-
Wow.
oh
You know
yeah,
what? I saw Randy play with Rick Emmett at the Phoenix. No, the Diamond Club before it became the Phoenix in Toronto.
this was in Ottawa at Majors Hill Park. It was a free concert outside. And then just a
Wow.
few years ago, he came back to Ottawa, so we had a good chat about that. He was with a band with Billy Sheehan, I believe. And
Yeah.
yeah, so everybody knows each other.
Yeah. We go way back. We played in a cover band a few times. Again, even in Toronto, everybody played in so many bands that, hey, Randy, what are you doing this weekend? Nothing. I'm going, great. We're playing in, let me think for a second. We're playing it was near Chatham, Ontario.
Okay.
So like it was like like I forget what the town was called. Anyways, but we would play and then we moved, me and my first wife, we moved to LA way before Randy did, and he would come down and visit. I'd go, dude, when are you making the move? And he had this phobia of turning from a big fish in a little pond to a small fish into a big pond. But he's so good.
Oh, he's
It
awesome.
didn't it didn't last. He just came down here and everything he touched was magic. It was amazing.
Moving to California, right? Isn't that the song?
That's the song, man. Except in the second chorus, when I talk about having a reservation for a hardwood floor, it was a futon. But hardwood floor rhymed with door.
Oh,
So
there you
there.
go. That works. That works. You know, I was thinking about this also. This your sound on this album is fantastic, your guitar sound. And I've
Thank
always
you.
wanted to ask this to people who have one, but how cool is it to plug into a signature, your own signature amp with your own signature guitar and your own signature pickups? Like
Yeah.
seriously, how cool is
Well,
that?
seriously, somebody came up to me one time because I was playing at this birthday party, just because I was a friend, right? It's not like I don't play a lot of birthday parties if it's not my son or my daughter or my wife. It was a close friend. And so I'm playing, and the whole time, and this guy's watching me like, and he comes up to me after and he goes, I can't believe that sound. And I'm like, well, the amp was made for me. The guitar was made for me. The pickup was made for me. So if it didn't sound good, I'd be an idiot. I think it just comes down to that.
But it's so cool, right? Everything's got your name on it. How cool is that?
And now the pedal, the J Rocket PXO overdrive boost, that just came out last fall. And yeah, man, it's been like I mean, it's what's really cool about that sonic aspect of being a musician is really, really knowing what you like, and companies on that level wanting to help you achieve that. Like literally me being in Dave Friedman's workshop with the chassis open, shoot, and my goal was less gain. But when I fell in love with the BE 100. But when I wanted to do Angus or Jimmy Page, I turned down the gain, and it seemed like the magic went away. So I need something that's not turning down the gain to get that. And he goes, well, let's put a gain cut in it. And then he'd flick the switch and it would be like this. And he'd flick the switch and it would be like this. And then at one point he goes, hey, let me try this. And he put an alligator clip somewhere. And I had an E chord and it was Malcolm Young. And I'm like, that's it. And he goes, done. He wrote down what he did, sent it to the builder, and there we go. But how fun is that?
No kidding.
Yeah. And same thing, Jay Rocket was sending me circuit after circuit after circuit when I was looking for an overdrive that I really, really wanted to put my name on. Because, we're guitar players are super finicky. It's like, well, I have 10 overdrive pedals. And in my case, it's like 100. And I like a different one every week. And they sent me something that worked with every amp I plugged into, worked with every guitar I plugged in. And it's just, I wow. And then I'd find something else new about it. And then somebody else posts a picture. Hey, I just got the Phil X PXO and they're playing. And I'm like, wow, they got it sounding really good. What are their settings? And I zoom in to take a picture. So it's like that. So yeah, and the pickup with Arcane, the two pickups, it's funny because my PX Super 8 with Arcane is probably the most Van Halen sounding pickup I've ever heard. Because I was playing all these guitars at Bon Jovi rehearsal. Because when it's the drills, I got two SGs out with me, and that's it. But with Bon Jovi, with the different tunings and the different sounds, and you got a country song and you need a baritone, there's like, 15, 20 guitars. So I was playing through the whole rehearsal, and then I picked up I have a white Gibson Explorer, and I just put that on, and I was about to play Bad Medicine, and I'm like, holy shit! And my tech, like, we can talk to each other within our ears. He talks into a microphone. He goes, dude, that's Van Halen. I'm like, it is, right? And
Really?
that it's the wrong guitar, wrong pickup, wrong amp. But I mean, when you have a little bit of hand stuff going on, it helps. But it was my Arcane PX Super 8 with an Alan Weight magnet in that Explorer that's all mahogany. And just it was the brown sound. It sounded like I could play I started playing more Van Halen, like a Fair Warning. And I started playing what was it? I forget now. Um Main Street. And it sounded like, holy shit. We were like staring at each other. And then John's like, we're gonna play Bad Medicine or what? Like, right. Sorry. I was getting all geeked out.
Now, speaking of Van Halen, I may be totally wrong on this one, but I'm gonna throw it out there. I Love You on Her Lips has a part where the background is singing On Fire. Is that a little tribute? Because it sounds very similar to On Fire by Van Halen.
Yeah, she's on fire. Yeah, but she's a liar.
Well, you know,
I hope that's not an insulting question. I didn't mean
no,
it.
no, 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 no. I can do that Dave Lee Roth thing sometimes, and it's funny because it wasn't intentional, and then because so I would sing that, and Dan sings, "Yeah, she's on fire," and I sing, "She's on fire," and I go to that note, and then she's a liar, and then I do, "She's a liar," and then she's a live wire, and I do that. But so I answer him in that Dave Lee Roth kind of rangy, screamy thing, and it was funny because it took me. I didn't even realize I was singing on fire until I had played it back a few times, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm actually singing on fire, but I'm saying she's on fire. So and with that scream, and the funny thing is I when I screamed it, I should have backed off the mic pre. It's loud, right? So I sent it to Chris Lord Alge because he mixed it, and he calls me and he goes, "Wow, there's a lot of clipping on that screen. Do you think you could do it again?" And I was like, "I actually don't think I could." He said, "I'll make it work," and he totally did his magical, mixing stuff, and it ended up sounding great. But it's pretty funny. I love. I'm not afraid of letting my influences out there, because you can hear it in my playing and my singing, even styles. Like You Sunk My Battleship is my ode to like Black Sabbath. Like both, it's got two different grooves and they both fall under that category for me. And on Stupid Good Lookings, I totally like Rock and Roll You All Night Long is a complete homage to Van Halen 1. I think when we recorded it, it was like the 40th anniversary. So I was totally, I'm the One meets a little bit of Hot for Teacher. Glenn Sobel played drums on that. I'm always, I love AC/DC, so you'll hear that in some songs and stuff. It's like no one's gonna recreate the wheel. So I might as well like, licks wise, I feel like I definitely dip into a lot of influences when I'm even creating my own licks, but I've become so well at disguising them, so good at disguising them.
Yeah, but that's good. I mean,
Yeah.
nothing wrong with influence, right?
Yeah, but then it's funny because I'll do a lick and somebody goes, "Oh man, that's so dime bag, Daryl," and I'm like, I never listened to him, so it's got to be something that he got from. We have the same influence,
Right.
and he did the same thing. So that's kind of funny, though.
It just carries on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, there's one other thing I wanted to ask about this album, and that is, did you record with the drummers in person, or did they record at their place and send it to you? I'm just wondering if you got to watch these guys play.
Oh yeah. No, like for instance, a lot of the songs, like "You Sunk My Battleship," even the Tommy track, we recorded together, me, Dan, and Tommy. "Don't Wake Up Dead" is one of my favorites that we captured in the studio live. We were at Studio 606 which is a Foo Fighter studio in Northridge, and it was me, Dan, and Ray, and it was the same thing. I just sent him the song, and he put his flavor on it and flair on it, and we were playing at the same time, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is going to open the record!" Like I knew immediately that it was going to open the record, and to me, "Don't Wake Up Dead" epitomizes the drill's vibe to me. It's it's a stereo image of the guitar, but the guitar on the left is the guitar that I recorded with Ray and Dan. And then the bass is what Dan recorded that day. And then when I wanted to get the stereo image, I doubled the guitar on the left with a kind of different sound at home in my studio. But when I got to the solo section, instead of playing a rhythm guitar to support it, I doubled it. And it to me, that's how I created that stereo image. But to me, that's what it is. It's one part played twice. So it's still a three-piece kind of vibe with me singing my aggressive vocal down the middle. I mean, to me, that's what the drill is all about. And there are songs like Heal and not even Fake the Day Away. There's a lot of them is just really simple guitar arrangements, but some of them have some overdubs for sure. I just want to fatten it up because as three piece, when you go see us live, I don't think you really miss anything because the energy of us being live is in your face. But when you're sitting back and listening to it, it could use a little studio magic. I'm not gonna lie.
Of course, why not? That's what it's all about. That's why we have studios, right?
Yeah.
So this one's been on my mind recently because I just saw Styx a while ago, and uh, they replaced their keyboard player and singer with another Canadian, by the way. Canadians are taking over down.
Yeah.
Um, so how do you approach? You've stepped into the shoes of two of the biggest dudes in guitar with
Yep.
Rich and Rick Emmett.
Yep.
How do you approach a gig when you know that so many people are can't accept change?
Well, that is a hurdle for sure. I mean, the Rick thing, it was weird because it would have had legs if it wasn't in the prime time of grunge. Like a lot of people come up to me and they go, "I can't believe you played on that record," and it's one of my favorite Tramp records, and it's like, wow. But the business took over when the record immediately after the record came out. There was a disgruntled uh, disagreement between the band and the label, and then it dissolved. So it really didn't get a chance. But at the same time, you know, where music was going at the time and all this stuff. But I mean, I talked to Gil. I talked to Gil. I talked to Gil last week. Like we still have a relationship. So it's funny. The Bon Jovi thing was more of a long running thing. Like I've literally been there since 2013. So and this month it's been 12 years. So yeah. So but I mean, I became a national member in 2016 when This House Is Not for Sale came out. I played parts on the record. My face is on the album jacket. That kind of thing is kind of crazy. But I think it's a thing of respect. It's not trying to force too much of me into somebody else's thing. And I learned that with Triumph too, because I remember playing a solo on one of the songs, and Mike Levine walked in and said, "Wow, that's a great solo, but it doesn't sound like Triumph." And I thought, "Oh, okay, dial it back a little," kind of like that. So with the years, years and years later, decades later, you have me playing with Bon Jovi, and it's just about respecting the band and respecting Richie Sambora and the songs and the fans, and that's all it was. And I can't play exactly like the guy who's been here the whole time, and I can't play like I play because it doesn't suit it. So there's a guy in the middle that shows up and delivers every night, and I think there was a lot of respect for me deciding to do that, and it worked. It worked out really great. A lot of the fans still hate me, but that's fine. I mean, things change. like, people want John to write songs like Slippery When Wet at 60 something years old. That's not going to happen. So this is just another facet that's different.
Right. Well, you're doing a kick-ass job, and
Thanks,
the
man.
documentary was great. Um, okay, rapid fire.
Rapid fire. Pew, 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 pew.
You ready for this?
I'm ready.
So last month, you played with Richie actually at a
I
show.
did.
You talked all about that. I'm not going to ask you about that because you've talked
Okay.
about that. But what I really want to know is Billy Gibbons as cool as he seems? Because you got pictures of you with Billy Gibbons at that show too.
That was a different show. It was just like 2 days later. But
Whatever. Is Billy
he's
Gibbons as cool?
cooler. He's
Really?
cooler in person.
Really?
Like totally cooler in person. Like 100%.
How
Like
can
no
he be
question.
cooler than what he shows off?
I know. I don't know how he does it. He just the way everything that comes out of his mouth, everything that he says with his voice, and then you're thinking, okay, we're playing. I think I posted a video. I was right behind him, and he's singing the first verse to Lagrange, and I'm like, and I'm like, this is incredible. This is incredible. This is incredible. Oh man, I gotta play. I had to put my phone down and start playing. So but he's just hanging out. He's cool, you know. He literally didn't bring a guitar to the gig, so he went to a shop and bought a guitar for 150 bucks and brought that to the gig. And when I was looking at it, it still had the film, the clear plastic film that comes on the pickups. And I'm like, did you just buy that guitar? He goes, sure did. 150 bucks. And I'm like, you're gonna leave the film on the pickups, right? He goes, hell yeah. And we started playing. It was like
He probably sounded just like Billy Gibbons with that $150 guitar.
it's unbelievable. He just sounds like him no matter what he's got in his hands, for
Got it.
sure.
Okay, one more rapid fire. Uh, as a Canadian, I'm changing. You can see I've got a Rush
I
picture.
saw that.
I'm changing the name of Mount Rushmore to the Mount More Rush because we need more Rush in the world.
Wow.
Um, so, who are your biggest Canadian guitar player influences to put on the Mount More Rush? There you go.
Well, man, it was definitely Rick and Alex and Kim Mitchell. And I don't know if I can think of anyone else. Randy Bachman.
Randy Bachman. What about
Yeah.
that other guy, Phil X? What about him? Again, congratulations. Great album. Love it.
Thank you.
Hopefully you're going to do some touring up in Canada at some point. That would be awesome.
I'm hoping. I'm working on it. I'm getting the schedule for the day job, and then I'm going to fill in the gaps.
The day job. Not a bad day job, right? Um,
Right?
excellent. Thank you so much for this. It's awesome. And hopefully up in Ottawa at some point we'll see you here.
Yes, definitely. Take care,
Right
man.
on.
Thank you.